Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. We'll start in a couple of minutes until everybody signed up. I'm very glad to have so many people registered for the webinar today, and we have here an amazing guest here on stage, which is Enno. Enno will talk today about best practices and organizing your Google and Bing Ads account, and we'll talk it from perspective, not just running your ads, but actually how you structure your account, how you make your account best visible, and how you reach the best results with your respective Google and Bing Ads account. So I'm very happy to have here Enno. My name is Marco Horstraser. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Nexoya, and we'll basically moderate this session today and also help Enno to go through the questions which might appear as we go through the day. Before we go forward, we are here in Click Meeting. You see it's a fully online tool. So you see everything in the web. And you also have the possibility to ask questions. So please also raise questions during the session. We will then take all the questions at the end and summarize and basically go through all the questions at the end of the webinar. So just click on the Q, ask a question mark, put your questions in, and they will be tackled at the end of the webinar. And with that, and with no further ado, I would like to introduce Enno Peter. Enno is a search engine advertising expert with 15 years experience in search. So he was doing search advertising where I didn't even know how search works or that there is advertising in search. So he's an expert with a huge experience in that. And I would give you the word, Enno, to shortly talk about yourself and give a word. But I'm very glad to have you here and wish everybody a great webinar with Enno.
So, thank you, Marco. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the introduction. Well, I'm feeling old if you say I'm working for 15 years, but that's true. So what we're going to do. Today, we are talking about organizing Google Ads accounts, not optimizing. The whole internet is full of material for optimizing campaigns and bidding strategies and something. But today we're talking about what to do to get a better structure in your campaigns, as Marco said, if you have a big account that really does matter. So first off, I want to talk about organizing your account. And it's followed by the look at the different ways to structure for campaigns and ad groups. The third will be naming convention, because this is a really powerful method of organizing your accounts. And finally, if there's time left, I hope so, I have some further tips for you relating to safety and security and other things. Well, starting with a serious issue, what's the most expensive mistake you can make with Google Ads? What do you think? So it's not automatic bidding with clicks maximized or wrong keyword modifiers or something like this. It's to lose control. I experience this every time, again and again. New customers come to me and say, sorry, Anna, can you help me? And I say, okay, let's walk through an account. And they say, oh, we can't. The account is in the hands of the agency. So who owns your account? At first glance, this looks like a trivial question, but clients do not think about the end of the cooperation when they hire an agency. And it's clear, yeah, the ownership of a Google account can be transferred, but many agencies do not want that, or they demand high prices for it. So this is crucial for your work, and you should really take care of it, that you own your account and the agency is just a guest on your account. Of course, you can export your account to another account and import the data, but all the historical data will be lost, and all the smart bidding procedures in the background will be lost. So keep an eye on your account and keep the old account. Yeah. Yeah, that's truly my advice. But let's jump into the account structure. A few general notes about the structure of the account. Some you will already know, some you don't. We are talking mostly about Google Ads today, but everything relates to Microsoft Ads as well, because they share, as you might know, the same concept. You can say Microsoft Ads, formerly Bing, is a kind of clone of Google Ads. There are differences, yes, but we are not talking about this difference today. As you might know, Microsoft runs several search engines that include Bing and Yahoo and AOL and others, but they only have this very, very small percentage of the market in Europe. But in general, we have higher click-through rates and lower CPCs on Microsoft Ads. So I always would recommend, if you're doing Google Ads, do Microsoft Ads as well. Why is that? You can automatically import your whole campaigns and schedule the automatic import. So this is easily done, and the effort is little, and the output is big. So please do so. But back to Google Analytics. Here's a given layer structure. This is given by Google. This is no surprise. The account, you have several campaigns. Underlying, you have ad groups. Okay. So why structure your account when the structure is given? First of all, think about what kind of businesses do you want to represent. My advice would be one account for one business. If you have several businesses which aren't too similar, don't mingle them up into one account. And think about growth. Yeah, you maybe start small, but if you get more and more campaigns, things might get really messy. And if you're reorganizing your account and moving campaigns and ad groups, and that might wipe your data, which is crucial. Yeah. So the other thing is you can't really remove or delete elements. But you might say, if you see the button remove element, you know, the element is always visible, and the whole account gets messy. Yeah. So good structure might save time and money for you and your people. And yeah, it might be protected for future algorithms and better save the right ads to the right people, and is definitely more effective. So the structure and numbers, this might be something you already do. You only should have not more than 10 ad groups per campaign, underlying 20 keywords per ad group, and a maximized number of 3 ads per ad group. And as you might know, in July next year, 2020, expanded text ads will be vanished, will be all replaced with responses ads. But this is something I just want to mention. Yeah, campaign structures. There are several, and we're going now to the second layer. Yeah, this is where the magic is happened. There are different types of campaign structures that help me and my clients, for sure. First one would be a sitemap orientated structure. according to your website. The second would be according to your portfolio of services and products. I will show some examples. And the third one will be landing pages. Why that? I will show again. Yeah. So first, let's get to the sitemap structure. Say we have a company like an IT service provider. Yeah. Here's several services, maybe some products or solutions, maybe does some campaign for recruiting as well. Yeah. So the structure would be obvious according to sitemap and the menu of his website. How to get order in it by leading numbers. Yeah, I will go into deep in this in the later part of the naming. And here we have some IT support. And why is it IT support monitoring? Because it is a subset of the IT support services. Yeah, and maybe you will include the market. This could be Switzerland, and the language English, and the date. So this is a very clear and nice structure. The second is something for companies with a wide range of products. Say you have an online store, fashion. On the right hand, you see here's a navigation of a big online store. And so it would be clever to arrange the campaigns in this order which is given. So every team member could easily find your campaigns. Yeah. So again, maybe a leading number. You don't have to do this, but it helps to fix an order. As and for the search network, and we have here a structure like women dresses party, and we see this in the navigation. Women, I skipped collections here. Yeah. Here's dresses, and here's party. Yeah. Maybe we target the US market, and this is English, and this is a starting date of our campaign. Well, so coming to the next, the third structure is landing page based. Let's say we have a software vendor like Nexoya, maybe. Huh? We just have one product. So how do we structure our account? We structure it by landing pages and promotions. Promotion, but the promotion marketing action has its own topic, market, language focus, target group, etc. And every landing page should get its own campaign. Yeah? So maybe we do this here different. We don't have a fixed order. We order them by the reverse date. We have an identifier for the search network, and here, this is our white paper campaign for CLM migration, and we do this in Switzerland in English. Yeah? So this will be a nice structure as well. So how do we keep campaigns in order? Yeah, there are no folders in Google Ads. There's no sorting. It's just an alphabetic sorting on the left side. This is quite annoying when you have really a lot of ads. So there are two solutions to keep order in it. One is the label for campaigns, and I will show that. The second is leading numbers. This is okay if your account is not too big. You can put in manually leading numbers, and they will save you a fixed order. But the other way to use labels is much more better, and I will show you. Maybe you use them as well. You find labels in Google Ads and Microsoft Ads as well. The concept is definitely the same. And it gives you various possibilities to mark elements on each of the layers. Yeah, you can define your own labels, add colors. This is the only part where colors really matter, and mark those elements. Yeah. But they only show up if you really add those column with the labels. Otherwise, you won't see any labels. So how do you use them? They are very handy for different things. You can put the geography in it, target markets, campaign types, but maybe as well process relevant information such as who's the editor of the campaign or the status of the approval. So the label thing here is a really powerful tool. Labels can be used for filtering and reporting across the entire account. And yeah, that's a really powerful tool, but mind to export the label. If you do some exports of your data for reports, for instance, yeah, the label is not automatically exported. You have to do this by yourself. And the other thing to mind is there's in this concept, there's no inheritance. Say we mark the campaign number one with the label favorite. This doesn't mean automatically the underlying layers of ad groups and keywords are automatically marked with the label favorite. So you have to do this on your own. This might be gets a little bit difficult if you have a very large account with very many keywords. In this case, you might write your ad scripts as well to do this automatically, but that's a different story. Yeah. Okay. And now let's come to naming conventions. Another powerful method for structuring is naming. Yeah. Why use naming conventions? Normally you wouldn't. You just would say, okay, this is my first campaign, second campaign, and so. But it's so powerful to have a good overview and think about a growing account, and which can get really messy, and you need structural naming conventions just to help your team and external members and intern members. It's easier to find and slice your campaigns and to distinguish and filter campaigns in external tools like Excel or Google Data Studio. So let's dive into it. Here's a good and a bad example. One might name his campaign Aunt Rosie's Summer Google Campaign 3.1. But there's nothing really in it. We don't know which summer, why Aunt Rosie. Is this a product? Is this the owner of the campaign? And what's it all about? So a very good structured way to use a name would be SN for search network and summer sale, and maybe include the budget, 100 USD per day. What's it all about? It's sneakers we are trying to sell. We do this in English language in California, and we started our campaign on the 1st of July. So a structure like this is very transparent. Yeah. Okay. So what can you include in the naming? A lot of data can be included, but only use data that doesn't change much. I personally wouldn't include the budget because my clients like to adjust the budget. Yeah, we have time for starting the campaign, and we look how much do we get out of, and raise the budget, lower the budget, and transfer the budget from one campaign to another. So I don't want to use this, but the campaign time is obvious. Network, I show you why it should be, could be. Makes sense to include this as well. The target market. If you use country names, please use the ISO country names so everybody can use this, as well as the date. If you use a date, use an ISO format. Yeah, don't use your own. So you could add languages, location, category, product, services as well. Bidding, I wouldn't do that. That's part of the change I would make to the campaign. Budget, no. Funnel, maybe. If you're using broad or exact keywords, yeah, you could include this, maybe. Yeah. So what helps me is to use special characters. Yeah, we have space is okay. We could use dash and slash and the pipe symbol. It's a vertical character. Unfortunately, we can't use any color, no, and we can't use the famous emojis, no. But if you like to, you could build some ASCII art in it, but that doesn't help so much. So, so why use the campaign type in the name? We already know this is a campaign type. Yeah. The symbols here in Google Ads represent the campaign type. Shopping, display, network, search, and so. This is quite helpful if you're inside Google Ads. This is okay. But if you're doing some reporting and export the data, these symbols are lost. So better use the campaign type in naming and do your own short code for a search network. Also. Yeah, it's a good thing to have. It might get lost otherwise. As well as a network type. Okay, we are now here in Google Ads or Microsoft Ads, but there are so many more. Yeah, we have Facebook, and Instagram, and YouTube, and others. So, and think about big. Yeah, think about for a multi-platform marketing tool, and think about comparing reports between Facebook, Google Ads, and other. So it would be very handy to see, oh, let's see here, Microsoft Ads. This was a Microsoft Ads campaign. That's the data from. This was sneaker launch women in Great Britain, English, started. This is data which totally speaks for itself. Yeah? I think this is so important if you're really doing multi-channel marketing. Yeah. Okay, another tip. You might do this because it's so obvious. If you pause or remove campaigns, you can remain them like something that. Some people do this, so these campaigns will get to the bottom of the list and don't bother you anymore. Yeah, this is a simple tip, but it helps. So there's no industry standard, and Google is not giving you any information on how the best naming would be, but be consistent in your company, in your team, use a working language of your team for sure. And remember, Google Ads is case sensitive. Other platforms might not. So maybe it would be it would be good to say, okay, I only use lower cases and not the mixed type I use here. And use short names. If you do this too long, there will be no information in it. Yeah. So. Okay, extra benefit. I'm not really sure how many people will really use the internal search function, which is built in Google Ads, but it's so powerful. It's especially powerful with the right naming. Yeah, it's just great if you search quickly for a specific campaign or a part of a campaign. Yeah. Just in this example, you see, I search for DE, which could be mean Deutsch here, yeah, German. Um, and the inbuilt search function gives me these results here. And I could easily click here for more and see all the campaigns at one glance. So I have to look at the time. Okay, I'm quite fast. So I come to further tips. They didn't belong really in to the rest, but I think they are so important. So maybe here are 5 parts. One is security. Yeah, it's obvious. Never never share your account credential with coworkers. Okay, restrict the email addresses for invites of a team. You can do this in Google Ads in the security section, and use the two-factor authentication. This will become mandatory anyway in the near future, I think. So everybody got to use a two-factor authentication. Yeah, and another important part is be careful which services you give to the access to the account. Yeah, if you're working, for example, Google Stadia, Google Data Studio, there are several add-ons that need access to your Google account for displaying the data. Yeah? Or there are some optimizing services, which I don't will tell you. They really need access to your account, but be sure what they are doing with it. Yeah? So tests, the second one here. If you are doing tests, and it's good to do tests, yeah, and continuously optimize your campaigns, you might think about doing this in a second account. One crazy client for me is doing several hundred cat campaigns just for testing purposes. He does this in the live account, which drives me mad sometimes. So, okay. Yeah. On the other hand, here, backups. And you might ask yourself, well, what's Peter saying? Why do backups of cloud data? We're already in the cloud. There are good reasons for this. Why? The change history, you have a change history and they can go back, but only in the last 30 days. Yeah? If you want to move or clone your ads to another account, backup would be handy. So use backups to revert unsuccessful changes done in the past. Yeah. To do this, simply use the Google Ads editor. There you can find the export function to do backups. You can't do this online in the web service. So what might I add? Team. You might have external, internal team members look at the roles and restrict the rights of the roles to a minimum. to the minimum necessary and check and purge them regularly. So you don't want a mad internship you fired last month to mess around with your campaigns, don't you? Okay. So backup payment. This is really something not too important, but you could use a second backup payment method. Think about the primary backup would be obviously a credit card. And if this payment method fails, your ads will still be delivered. If your account has one or two unpaid balances, and this happened to a client of me, your account might be suspended. This is not nice. Okay. Yes. Well, this is the end of my presentation. Here we are. It's was getting quick. Marco.
Yes. Thank you, Enno.
Yeah.
That was a good overview of tips and tricks on naming convention and structure and things like that. And
Thank you.
I saw a couple of questions coming in already. So I would suggest we directly jump into questions, or is it okay for you?
Yeah.
Good. I need to structure them a little bit. I see the first one came in very early via one of the LinkedIn guests. So let me publish this question. The question is, how can I get back control of my ad account if my agency has it? So like how can I do that? Or probably the question is about migration or things like that, right? But or do you have any suggestion how this can be done?
Good. Okay. I'm not sure. Is this a political question or is this a technical question? Speak to them, address the issue, and read the contracts you made. Yeah.
But are there any tools which help you? You know, not in transferring the account or something like that. Is there something also technical available? You know what?
Not really. You just can change the ownership in the Google Ads account.
Okay. Then you basically change the ownership to a new email address, and so that's how you can take over.
That's it. Yeah.
Good. I hope this answers the question for the LinkedIn guest. Then I'm just trying to check what makes sense to ask next. Yeah, there's another question which goes a bit in the similar beginning on what ad spend level should we care about organizing it properly with naming conventions, etc. Is there any recommendation from you when this makes sense? When should we start looking at? Let me change. We can change here to the Q&A section. So kind of when does it make sense, right?
It makes sense. I think if you do the first mistake, then you need to go into organizing. Maybe not in the first week, but if you have any experience and see, Google Ads or generally speaking PPC will be a part of my marketing for the next years. It's obvious to care about organizing.
Yes, I mean, and is there also other aspects such as amount of people in the team which make you doing it? I mean, ad spend might be one, right? If you have a couple of €100 or €1,000, then you might care. If you have a couple of bucks just trying out Bing, you might not care yet. Or is it more about, or what do you see in the wild west? Is there any?
Yeah, on one hand is the simple size of the account. If you get lost in your own account, there's something wrong. On the other hand, there's a team. If you're working with other people, you have to communicate. And it's getting so much easier if you can say, okay, it's campaign number 13, or not campaign sneakers summer sale last year, maybe not optimized. This should be obvious.
Or cat campaign number 13. Huh?
Campaign, yeah. I could it some.
Yeah, I can reveal at this stage we did some cat tests, right? So Enno was clearly mentioning our demo account, and we did it wrongly in the production account. That might also be the reason why we talk today.
What's giving yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Yeah, also the others, so if you have more questions, just put them in. I just take the ones which are here and try to summarize the ones which are together. There is one on structure.
Okay.
So thanks for the structure insights. Good overview. Should this be in an agency briefing already? Like if you onboard customers, so how do you do that? Sorry, say it again.
Do so. If the agency hasn't got its own naming conventions, give them something. Yeah.
But would you now recommend to have if the agency has a naming convention that they should use theirs, or I mean it's your account, so to take over control, should you not make sure that you have your because then when you change the agency potentially in the future or whatever, right? Or would you not care about that? Not think so.
Point of view of my clients, all of my clients love Google Ads, but they don't really like to care about Google Ads. I'm not sure if they like to get their own structure and talk about naming and present this to an agency. I'm not sure.
Okay, so basically make sure in the briefing there is a point agency should have the naming, should have a naming, how you say, naming convention, and that they should be stated, but maybe you don't have your own, right?
Yeah, if you have your own Google Ads manager in your own team, this Google Ads manager might have its own naming conventions. But if you don't, give the thing to the experts. So you should not care about this.
Cool. Makes sense. Thanks a lot. Then we have others the same person I see is follow-up question by label.
Oh.
No, wait. Now I skipped one. Sorry. There was a question which I'm not sure how I can bring this up now. Sorry. Yes, so it's basically a sub question on the question. So we have 4 countries with various brands having their own ad accounts. Is there a way to group all of it in for reporting or optimization purposes?
Yeah.
For instance, CPL per country, CPA per product on the structure right now is per country, and it's messy as there are different agencies per country.
Okay.
So you can not write here. It's a long comment. That's why it's cut off.
That's not too easy. Hell of a question. Use labels. You can set up multiple labels for one element. So I think label structure would be good for you. I'm not sure. 4 countries with various brands on their own accounts. Okay.
So I guess it's like 4 countries, delivering different accounts, different currencies, different mixtures.
Yeah. It's good to have separate accounts, I think. Maybe. If the markets are really different. To group it for reporting and optimization, I would say, use a naming convention across all accounts, choose one, and establish these, and use label. A lot of label. So you can easily find your data and do reports on your own.
But these labels are not over the ad accounts, right? So this would be like Germany will be one ad account, and Austria, and then they're different labels. You cannot transfer them or you see them, right? You need to go into the different account.
This is right.
Okay. But it's a way to organize it, but it's not like it probably doesn't help him to or her to go over the countries, right?
No, I don't think so. No. I don't think there's a kind of meta view to manage several accounts. I'm not sure. No.
Or just exporting the data basically, right? And then going through it.
Data with labels, with the naming, right naming will give you advantages. I think, yeah. Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Enno. I hope this answers the question. I see a lot of people from LinkedIn coming here. Yeah, he or she has just answered. Great for the answer. We'll try the labels. Sounds good. Let us know if it works. Then we have another one, which is another question. What is the backup tool called for Google Ads?
Yeah.
This was the Google editor you mentioned, huh?
This is just the Google editor. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can share the tool. It's actually an offline tool, and you can download, and you can you probably can talk better about it.
Yeah,
it's share the chat
and weekends. You can load your whole campaign or parts of the campaign and do an offline rework. There are some functions which are better to use than others. If you've done your changes, the tool will check these changes and upload this to your account. And part of this tool is an export function.
Yes, and this is also how you do your backups, like you do it with this tool and you export it, and then you have what do you have, a JSON or XML or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then all the pictures are in it, and then you put it on a cloud somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I just to the person who asked that, I just put the link in Google Ads Editor for backup download and offline backups. And so there is, I know, for a question for you, then there is no way to do this backup automatically, right? This is done. Also, you do it manually.
I don't think so. No, really not. I think Google is so convinced that they won't run into any mistakes or errors. But I wouldn't believe them. I'm always on the safe side. I try to.
Okay, cool, good. Thanks a lot. And I see the person already got the link. Wonderful. Are there any other questions from anybody right now? As we are coming slowly to the end of our webinar, we could probably take one more question in, if someone has one. Otherwise, I will just ask one. One homebrew one. I think we had now a couple of questions, but I ask one. You mentioned that the biggest problem is to lose control in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Well, can you quantify what that means? Yeah, I mean, kind of like if a customer comes to you which has a super messy ad account, right? How much do you get out of it just restructuring it and setting it up fresh and make a good structure? Do you have any guess? I mean, I don't need a fixed number, but like, is it like you get because you see more, or like how do you?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say Google rewards a good structure. Some people say that. I don't think so, but it's rewarding to work with the structure. Yeah, it's more easy to do something. You won't run into mistakes you make. So
it's less concrete, like double the optimization revenue rather than have half of the time you work on the ad account, right? Because you just know what you do more this way, correct?
There are many aspects you can't quantify, but there's quality in it. I would say.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you could. Let's take an example. You could quantify the time you need.
Yeah, sure.
For managing the account, right? And it's probably double the time you need if everything is a mess and there are all Indian cats running around, rather than if you just have 5 campaigns which are very clearly structured and very easy to find, correct?
But you can't quantify the communication distress you have. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's clear. That's clear within the team. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Cool. Yeah, wonderful. Thanks a lot. And you already said there is no standard, right? Do you know if there is any? I don't know. Is there any group or or whatever? How to say? Group of people kind of interested in pushing that forward? Are you aware of something like that? Someone working on this?
Really? You mean some kind of standardization naming?
ISO for search advertising.
So I could do this. The people and for naming convention. No, I wouldn't want to do it. No, not to my knowledge.
Yeah. Because also there it's like proprietary ad platforms, obviously, and so there's less need for a push to conventions, right? Potentially. But yes, good. Thanks a lot. So I see there didn't come any questions in, I think. Let me double check. No, I don't think so. So great. Thanks for the answer we got back, and thanks for the link. These were 2 messages. So if there, say it again.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for showing up and giving us some insights into structure and how you actually organize your ad account rather than just optimize, which I think is a major part. And thanks everybody for listening. I hope you could take away some important structure insights and how you can do that forward. I think on the next slide you also have your contacts, right, which you probably can still show. So obviously Enno is a marketing consultant, so he's also available under Peter at Kairos Berlin DE. So I guess he can also help you to structure your campaigns. I'm not sure if you like doing that, but I think it's a very important step going forward. So thanks a lot, Enno.
Thank you.
Yes, do you want to say a last word?
Yeah, have fun with Google Ads and do a little bit of tidying in your accounts yourself. This is a reward. It's a reward for everything. Yeah, so do it, please.
Life is short. Do stuff that matters, right?
Yeah. So contact me via LinkedIn or write me an email if you like to. So have a great day.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening, and have a wonderful day, and enjoy your organized search account. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.